First, I should say that I didn't come to Finland as a single mom. I became a single mom a few years after being in Finland. My ex-husband he has been the source of one of my greatest joys, my first child, but then the source of my greatest pain as well. And now being a single mom and not having equal access to our child. He has behaved in a way that I never expected him to. I wasn't ready for the extent that he was willing to go. So he made me lose a little bit of faith in humanity. When we got separated or divorced, our child was still small. She's a girl. She was just 2 years old, and he couldn't understand that a small child, regardless that she's a girl or boy, still needs to have constant access to their mom. That to me was very difficult to accept. Also, the fact that people here are not very communicative, they don't share. That I take it in a positive and negative way. Positive because it's nice that people leave you alone and give you space to resolve your own problems. Negative because sometimes we need a little help. And when you're in the middle of a crisis, it feels even worse. You seem to forget even the most basic things that will help you. For example, as a student, I always took vitamins B6 and 12 just to help me cope. At that moment when I was under a lot of stress, under a lot of pressure, I forgot about that. I didn't take the basic things that would have helped me to be able to focus and react in a different way. I felt like I was just reacting and not really thinking about what was going on. Of course, the fact that I didn't have anyone here, I am alone, my family is far. Yes, we communicate daily, but it is different when there's that physical proximity. Sometimes you don't want to talk, but you need a hug. You need someone just to hold your hand. That made a difference. And it made me feel very alone in a city with so many people. And the system itself is still very protective towards locals. And I felt that everything was against me right from the beginning. It was not a 50-50 chance. It was always going to be 80-20. So the justice system needs to be looked into. The social system is not optimal. What has helped, I think I would say probably the system in a way has helped because given that everything is so clear, once you are aware of what is going on and understand it, then it also helps. Having things like Nevola and the dental care system being set out for you makes it easy. Finland has a lot of good things to offer to single moms or moms in general, which cannot be found in the rest of the world. Pleasant surprise to me was being able to be at home with my children for 3 years at a time and not having that pressure of having to go out and make a living to provide them the things that I'd like them to have. That is a blessing, and this is something that Finland has done right because I think they've understood the need for there to be the parent and child connection without the financial stress. And also the fact that a mother's recovery process doesn't start when the baby's born. It's usually after the baby is 1 or 2 years old that the woman begins to feel herself and begins to feel normal. And the fact that we can stay at home for this time is actually very helpful because then we can actually be productive members of society and not just women who are trying to hide the depression, which would probably cause problems later on. The parks. I think it's amazing how everything is geared towards children, how we have options. We don't have to be stuck and we don't have to think outside the box to be able to entertain our kids, to be able to give them a complete, balanced life. They have play and they're able to be creative and just be kids. To me, that is amazing, and there isn't a price that you can put into that. So, having said that, it means that Finns, although there may be a conservative nature in the sense of speaking and being open, you are very logical. Being able to just walk down the street with a stroller is another brilliant thing. A lot of places you literally carry the stroller halfway. My own disposition, I think, has helped because I like to think that I am a go-getter. I do not sit and wait for the answers to come to me, but I try to the best of my abilities to go and find solutions. I'm very inquisitive, and I believe there's always an easier, better way of doing things. I don't believe in just dwelling on the negative. My family especially my mother, have been a very strong influence in me being able to survive, let's say. Survive first, but now being able to find a good balance and being happy to be here. Programs like this one are really helpful because then you're able to engage with other people and not feel so left out, because this is one of the biggest things about Finland, is that most of the time you feel like you're the only one who has problems, the only one going through a situation, which is not the case. There are a lot of people, but even as foreigners, when we get here, we get acclimatized to this culture of not speaking and not sharing. So that makes it hard, because then it takes time to find solutions. Even for easy things somehow become a little bit harder. Once a person is integrated into the system, in the sense that they understand where they are and they understand the way the people are, it's also helpful because then you know where to look for help. Once I'd been through the whole grieving process of what went wrong, I was able to get up and look for help in the right places. A place like this, for example, that I didn't know that even existed, where there is support for single parents. You meet people in similar situations and you feel welcome, and you feel that someone is there willing to listen and to take care of you. That is a great advantage, and it was a wonderful surprise for me. I believe that as human beings, we have to support each other, and there isn't a better place that you can feel safe and in a confidential environment, basically, because what happens here stays here. And from the very first day, I think even my kids picked that up on that, to the point that when they get here, they're completely relaxed and they just are okay with the space and the people that are here. It's been a blessing, I think, to be able to share my experience with others, to be able to help others not to commit the same mistakes that I did, and to be able to just listen to someone else and to make them feel that they're not alone and they can shed a tear and they will find a sympathetic ear. So that has been great, because I've always feel that things are working out for me now, so I have to give back. I have to be able to make a difference, at least to one person's life. Show them that there is a light at the end of the tunnel.